My husband is a hidden rich man. After more than 2 years of marriage, I have never doubted my husband's status as an orphan. I feel sorry for how hard it is for him, so I have always lived frugally. Even when he was sick, he never went to see a doctor. He always bought some cheap medicine from a small clinic. Another time when I was buying medicine at a small clinic, a video on the clerk's phone caught my attention. My husband showed up at the auction in a suit and tie, with a beautiful woman elegantly holding his arm. Seeing me staring at the video in a trance, the clerk sighed and said, "People who can participate in an auction of this scale must be either rich or noble." Either rich or noble? I walked home with the box of cold medicine costing 6.5 yuan. If my husband is either rich or powerful, then why have I been living frugally for the 2 years since I married him? The fun starts right away. If you like it, remember to click to subscribe. My husband and I, Michael, we've been together for 4 years. Like many couples who have moved to Beijing, we squeezed into a rental house in a village in the city. In order to settle down in the imperial capital, we both worked very hard and lived a very tight life. In the video, Michael is wearing a neat suit and looks particularly dazzling at the luxurious auction. At first, I thought it was just part of his job. When I got home, I started searching for this video myself. The blogger in the video said, "Those who can sit in this auction are all wealthy people with a net worth of over 100 million. It will be difficult for ordinary people like us to achieve that in our lifetime. Without a net worth of hundreds of millions, you can't even get through the door. This is the huge difference between the poor and the rich." This sentence instantly reminded me of the scene a few days ago. And Michael, after 2 years of marriage, due to financial pressure, we agreed not to have children. When we went to the supermarket, I suggested buying a box of condoms for 29.9, thinking that this was the most economical option. But he shook his head and said, "It's too expensive. We have to save money. We haven't even gathered enough for the down payment on the house." He went on to say, "There is a 9.9 yuan contraceptive pill in the pharmacy. Just bear with it for a while and use that. When I make a lot of money, I will definitely let you live a good life." I was very angry after hearing this. A 9.9 yuan contraceptive pill can cause great harm to the body. "You are kidding me." He said helplessly, "Have you forgotten that 3 years ago your mother was sick and the surgery cost 400,000 yuan? I gave you all my savings without saying anything. Now we have to budget carefully. That medicine has national certification and is sold in pharmacies, so it should be fine. Just bear with it for now." Thinking of what he had done for me back then, I finally endured it. But now, I look at the beautiful girl in the video, Michael, with mixed feelings in my heart. He laughed so happily, and showed his generosity as he chatted and laughed with the elites around him. I couldn't help but wonder, is this really how he works? He's just an ordinary white-collar worker who often works overtime until late at night. How could he appear in such an occasion so easily? Once doubt arises, it grows like weeds. I returned home and didn't ask directly, but just waited silently for his return. That night, he worked overtime until late at night and came back drunk in the early morning. "Are you okay? I made you some hangover soup, drink it while it's hot." I handed him the bowl of soup and helped him take off his coat. He rubbed his tired eyes and said, "That stupid boss made me work overtime again. If it weren't so hard to find a job now, I would have quit long ago." He has complained about his job many times, and I have advised him to change jobs, but he always says that this company pays high salaries and he is reluctant to leave. "It's all for our family, for a place to stay in the capital." Every time he said this, it made me feel heartbroken. But this time I gently pushed him and said, "The bath water is ready, go and take a rest." He responded and walked towards the bathroom. And I quietly picked up his cell phone. When we were in love, Michael, we would laugh and look at each other's phones. But after we got married, we were both busy with work, and I never Michael, even though I had some doubts, I still trusted him as a person. This was the first time I checked his phone after marriage. I knew his old password, and when I opened it, I saw that WeChat was filled with work group chats and daily greetings, with only a few simple entertainment applications on the screen. I wondered to myself, was I really worrying too much? "Honey, I'm done washing. I'm out of shower gel. Don't forget to buy some." Michael, he walked out while drying his hair. I hurriedly turned off my phone. He saw it at a glance and joked, "We are already an old married couple, why are you still so worried about me? Do you want to take another look?" He sat down on the sofa leisurely and asked with a smile, "Why are you suddenly so interested in my phone?" "Oh, my mom said she wanted to buy a new washing machine. I told her to buy brand A, but she said you said before that other brands were better." My mom couldn't remember the brand name, so I thought of looking at your chat history. I answered calmly. After hearing what I said, he raised his eyebrows and said, "It's up to you to decide on this little thing. You can buy any brand. You are the one I trust most in the family. We have saved 700,000 yuan each. We are getting closer and closer to our goal. We will soon be able to save enough for a down payment on a house in the capital." He said with great satisfaction, "Our lives will get better and better. Thank you for your hard work, my wife." Here Michael having said that, I suddenly felt a surge of self-blame. Am I really overthinking? Well, honey, I actually have something I want to tell you. Just as I was about to speak, I caught a glimpse of the Z bracelet on his wrist, which he had not yet taken off, and my heart sank. The whole body was instantly enveloped by a chill. This bracelet is exactly the same as the one in the video. The video says that just one bead in this Z bracelet is worth millions. If it was just an ordinary job, why would he keep such a valuable thing with him and not return it? Michael, seeing that I was silent, he hurriedly asked, "What's wrong? Is our mother not feeling well again?" I took a deep breath and shook my head. "No, I heard there's a new property opening in the east of the city. The down payment is lower. Should we go take a look?" Michael, but he waved his hand and said, "No hurry, let's save more money, and the interest will be lower then." Night falls. I closed my eyes and lay quietly but couldn't fall asleep. Michael, thinking I was asleep, he quietly picked up his phone and sat up. I squinted my eyes and saw that he looked serious and started to enter the password. But that password is definitely not the one I have always known. He walked to the balcony and dialed the phone. I followed him quietly and vaguely heard what he was saying on the phone. "Secretary Chen, please send the items bought at the auction today to the West City Villa. Please keep an eye on the company for me in the next few days. Some people in the company are not well behaved. Grandpa's 70th birthday is coming soon. Please help me prepare a suitable gift the day after tomorrow, and find a beautiful female companion to accompany me to the birthday party." He was talking about business, and he made light of amounts of millions or tens of millions. He was totally different from the money-conscious man I usually saw. My heart sank. On the phone, the secretary's voice became cautious. "Michael, President, you really don't plan to take Ms. Sophia back to see Michael's grandfather? You two have been married for 2 years, and you have been hiding this from your father, Michael's father and Michael's mother. They are all very worried about your marriage. I heard that at the birthday party, they specially selected a few ladies with similar conditions for you and planned to arrange a blind date for you." My heart ached when I heard these words. But he smiled disdainfully. "Business marriage? I'm not interested. As for Sophia, she comes from an ordinary family and is easy to deceive, so we can just use her for fun. How could I possibly take her to meet Grandpa and my parents? But she's done a really good job as a wife, and I don't want to dump her yet. Just help me deal with my family and don't let them get suspicious." I clenched my fists. It turned out that he was not an orphan at all. He has parents, a grandfather, and is even worth a lot of money. The secretary seemed to have noticed something and asked tentatively, "Michael, President, what if your wife finds out who you are?" He replied casually, "Then we'll get a divorce. But I've notarized all the premarital property, and even advanced her salary for 5 years, so she won't get anything. Of course, I won't treat her unfairly, and I'll give her a breakup fee. I heard that Ms. Ava will be back from abroad in a few days and asked to see you. Do you want to see her? After all, you have been dating Ms. Ava for many years, and Ms. Sophia is somewhat similar to her. Have you let go of Ms. Ava in your heart?" He was silent for a moment. "Don't compare Sophia to her. She is not worthy of it. However, let the past be the past. It is better not to see each other again." After the call ended, I went back to bed, tears silently streaming down my face. Until today, I was still immersed in the beautiful dream of the future we had woven together. We supported each other and loved each other for many years, and I thought we were each other's only ones. However, this phone call, like a sharp knife, cut all my fantasies into pieces. His identity, experience, and love for me were all lies to me. It all sounds so absurd, yet so real. It turns out that my husband, whom I love so much, has another person in his heart. And I am just a substitute. As night fell, my heart ached and I couldn't even muster the energy to question him. Michael, he didn't notice anything unusual about me and fell asleep immediately after he came back. I quietly picked up his phone and hid in the bathroom. No matter how cruel the truth is, I have to get to the bottom of it. Recalling the other password I had just glimpsed, I successfully unlocked the phone. What unfolds before your eyes is a completely different world. Exist Michael in another WeChat account of The screen is full of group chats of rich second generations and company groups, and he is the big boss in the company group. Suddenly, a girl named Ava sent me a message, "I'm going back to China the day after tomorrow. Are you really not going to pick me up at the airport? We loved each other so much back then, and just because I wanted to temporarily pursue my studies and rejected your proposal, are you going to ignore me forever?" Could she be the ex-girlfriend who was the white moonlight in his heart? I carefully read their chat records and was shocked. Michael, he generously donated money to her and gave her gifts worth millions. The numbers 8888, 5200, and 1314 frequently appeared in the transfer records. He was not stingy at all. 5 days ago, he and I were choosing daily necessities in a store. He thought a condom that cost $29.9 was too expensive, so he advised me to use birth control pills that cost $9.9 instead. And at that time, he transferred 20,000 yuan to Ava because she wanted to eat Western food, without blinking an eye. Tears fell involuntarily, dripping onto the phone and blurring my vision. Then what am I? I clicked into Ava's circle of friends and saw that she was traveling around the world. She looked a bit like me in the photos. But her temperament and dress exude a sense of luxury from head to toe, and they are all branded goods. As for me, I was curled up in a small corner of the bathroom, still wearing the cheap pajamas I bought from Pink Sixie. Just as I was daydreaming, my phone vibrated, and in the group chat that was full of rich kids, my husband's name suddenly lit up. "Let's go to the bar in a few days. I have a date with some pretty girls. Michael, you are already 28 years old, and you have neither married nor fallen in love. What is the point of keeping a virgin like a virgin?" I couldn't help it, I touched the screen with my fingertips and replied, "I am married." As soon as the news came out, the group exploded instantly. "Getting married? When will it be? Today is not April Fool's Day, Michael, don't tease us. Haha, I haven't seen any women around you since you broke up with Ava. Getting married? Stop it. Michael, have you been driven stupid by your family's pressure to get married and started talking nonsense?" My hands were shaking as I watched them laughing and swearing on the screen. It turns out that in front of his friends, I don't even have the status of a girlfriend. Not only his parents, but also so many of his friends knew nothing about my existence. How ironic. 4 years of love ended up being a false joy. Tears fell silently, and my heart was chilled to the extreme. I silently deleted the conversation in the group, turned off my phone, and my eyes fell on him sleeping on the bed. At that moment, he became so strange. I couldn't stand it anymore, so I grabbed my coat and left the house without looking back. Looking at the endless darkness of the night sky, I decisively Michael the phone number was blacklisted. The sweetness and love we once had have now turned into unspeakable pain and hatred in our hearts. I hurriedly found a hotel. I usually live frugally, but today I spent several thousand yuan without hesitation and checked into a room in a 5-star hotel. Lying on that soft big bed, I tossed and turned, unable to fall asleep. Michael, how dare he play with my feelings like this? Then I'll let him experience the feeling of being teased. Birthday party day. Michael, he walked into his grandfather's birthday party with a beautiful female companion. I stood beside the service desk, with a faint smile on my face, watching them closely. "Hey, you look like a friend of mine." Suddenly, a man dressed in luxury goods came up to me and started a conversation, blocking my view. He asked tentatively, "Ava?" I shook my head gently. "Sir, you misunderstood. My name is Sophia." The man looked at me carefully and then realized that he had recognized the wrong person. But he did not stop there. "Michael," he called over, pointed at me and said with a smile, "Michael, do you think this woman looks like Ava?" Michael, he turned around, looking surprised. The man next to him pushed him and said, "What? Are you stunned? But if you look closely, there is a difference. Ava would not wear this kind of clothes." I smiled slightly, looking at him coldly. "Michael, sir, you also look like someone I know." The man asked curiously, "Oh? Who does he look like?" "Like my husband." I said this calmly. Michael's expression suddenly became complicated. He gave me a warning look and whispered, "Let's solve anything privately. Don't make a scene here. He still dislikes me and doesn't want to acknowledge me in front of others." The man thought I was approaching him on purpose. "Michael." He laughed and said, "You are quite courageous as a waiter, but Michael family, the heir of the group, there are many rich girls pursuing him." I still kept smiling. "It's just a joke. Actually, my husband died a long time ago, and I'm a widow now." The man thought I was joking and wanted to add me on WeChat. "You're quite interesting. Add me on WeChat so we can play together in the future." He looked at my face and figure with the undisguised look of someone selecting his prey. Michael, his expression became even uglier. He held down the man's hand as he was about to scan the code. She's just a waitress. What kind of woman can you not find in a bar? The man didn't take it seriously. Don't spoil the fun. Who would complain about having too many women? You and Ava broke up, but you still go to bars less often. I suggested with a smile, how about I add you? No. Sophia, that's enough. Michael finally, he couldn't hold it in anymore and shouted angrily. The man noticed something was wrong. You two, know each other? We couldn't be more familiar with each other. I put down the tray in my hand and took out 2 bright red marriage certificates from my bag. We've been married for 2 years. Do we need to get to know each other again? The man was shocked. Michael, the female companion next to me, also looked at the marriage certificate in my hand with a confused look on her face. What? The man exclaimed. Sophia, this is my grandfather's birthday party. Stop messing around. Michael, he grabbed my hand in frustration. I pushed him away suddenly and gave him a loud slap in the face. Bang. I said coldly, you have been acting in front of me for so long, Michael Movie King, is your play finally over? Pay point. The loud slapping sound echoed in the air, attracting the attention of almost all the guests at the banquet. Michael, she covered her cheeks and looked at me with disbelief in her eyes. On weekdays, I am gentle and virtuous, and I treat him with respect. We have never had any arguments in our 2 years of marriage. He could never have imagined that I would dare to hit him, and in public. More and more people are looking at us from all around. Michael, his face turned pale and he dragged me to the backstage. He whispered, let's find a place where there is no one, and I will tell you everything. In an empty corner, I broke free from his hand and looked at him coldly. I asked, is there anything else to explain? Isn't it enough that you lied to me? Michael, she didn't seem to care about deceiving me at all. Instead, she became even angrier. Sophia, you're making a scene in front of so many people. How can I put my face aside? I want him to be embarrassed. I really misjudged this scumbag. He appears to be honest on the surface, but in reality he lives a life of debauchery and treats me as a substitute for someone else. He was obviously very rich, but he was extremely stingy with me, always ignoring and belittling me. How dare I hope that he will treat me as his wife sincerely in the future? I said coldly, we have nothing to talk about, let's get a divorce. Michael, but she thought I was joking. Don't play such tricks. You made such a scene today just to make me recognize you and share my property. You are a woman from an ordinary family. You are so lucky to marry a rich man like me. I was about to retort when a butler came over with a few servants. Master, and Madam Michael's grandfather, sir, please go back to the living room. The housekeeper said respectfully, then turned to me and said, Miss, please go with me as well. They hope to understand what happened today. With so many eyes staring at us at the banquet, our argument had already become the focus. As the protagonists of the banquet, they cannot be avoided. More importantly, they have the right to know the truth. Son, tell me, what is going on? A noble lady in gorgeous cheongsam looked at us with a frown. I caught a flash of contempt in her eyes. Sitting across from them, I felt as if I were being judged. I heard from outside that this woman is your wife. When did you get married? How come I don't know about it? She glanced at me with disdain. Our family has a high threshold. Not just anyone can enter. There are many women who want to get close to my son, but they should know their own limitations. I sneered in my heart, thinking that like mother, like son. Auntie, this is our marriage certificate. You can check its authenticity. I have given enough at the banquet. Michael, I wanted to save face, but at this moment I couldn't bear their words any longer. We have been married for 2 years. If you don't believe me, you can check it out. I don't have to enter your house. Michael, his face became even gloomier. Shut up. You are the one who started all this today. Michael's father, Michael's mother. After exchanging glances, he took the marriage certificate and asked the housekeeper to check it. Soon, the housekeeper came back to confirm, Sir and Madam, the marriage certificate is real. Michael's mother, his face suddenly changed. Son, I don't object to free love, but marriage is a big deal. How can you find a woman like this? What kind of person am I? I asked back, with a sneer of sarcasm. I said in a resolute voice. It was your son who lied to me that he was an orphan and begged me to marry him on his knees. He married me without even giving me a gift and even notarized my premarital property. I have behaved uprightly and have never let him down. Although I am not from a prominent family, my family is well off, I have no worries about food and clothing, and I am the only daughter of my parents. At first, Michael, when he was pursuing me, my parents originally wanted a dowry of 100,000 yuan for good luck, and they also prepared a dowry of 150,000 yuan, hoping to give our little family a good start. Can Michael, but the bride price is an old custom, just like selling a daughter. At that time, I felt sorry for him because he was an orphan without parents to rely on. I understood his thoughts, so I didn't ask for a dowry and married him directly. After we got married, in order to save money, we skipped the wedding and honeymoon and just held a simple banquet in my hometown to complete the ceremony. Over the years, I have never had any complaints. Until I found out that he had cheated on me. He kept saying that he wanted to live a simple life, but he turned around and transferred 8,888 yuan to Ava, the white moonlight in his heart. When I married your son, I had no idea that he was a billionaire. I went through hardships with him. How did I owe him anything? Michael's mother, after hearing this, she was furious. How dare you talk back to your elders like this? You are indeed a little girl from the lower class, you have no manners. I will never accept a daughter-in-law like you. How can you be worthy of my son? Michael's grandfather Z interrupted her. Forget it, things have come to this point, there is no point in arguing anymore. I smiled and responded, how is it useless? Old man, you are sensible. I will marry Michael. At that time, I didn't know that he was a rich kid. I looked at my cowardly and arrogant husband standing beside me, and I felt only disgust. Since it was wrong from the beginning, it should be corrected as soon as possible. Michael, he looked confused and didn't understand what I meant. His face was gloomy. You have also met my family. Isn't it enough to make such a fuss? The whole world knows that you are Michael Familiopoulos. Are you satisfied? Whether you are satisfied or not is not up to you to say. I had made sufficient preparations before I came. I pulled the divorce agreement out of my bag and threw it on the table. Since everyone is here, let's bear witness. Michael, let's part ways amicably. After signing this agreement, we will go to divorce office. I said with sarcasm in my tone, don't worry, the agreement I asked my lawyer to draft will not require you to Michael family. Every penny counts. We have a total of 700,000 in savings, and after splitting it equally, each of us will have 350,000. Michael, lend me 400,000 yuan for my mother's medical treatment. I will calculate the interest according to the market rate. 650,000 yuan in this card will belong to him, and the remaining 50,000 yuan will belong to me. If you have no objection, Michael, sign it. I shoved the divorce agreement in his face without mercy. 2 copies. We've been AA from the time we were dating to the time we got married. Don't say I'm taking advantage of you in front of your parents and grandfather. We even paid for contraception in half. The last sentence shocked everyone, even the servants looked displeased. Michael's father, Michael's mother, he looked at us in disbelief, with a complicated expression. Michael, his face turned blue with anger. Sophia. What on earth do you want to do? At worst I will publicly acknowledge that you are my wife. Stop being so mad. I stood up, expressionless. If you don't want a divorce, then we'll see each other in court. You can decide for yourself who will be embarrassed then. When I turned to leave Michael, but he held my arm tightly. Bang! I slapped him back mercilessly. Michael's father, Michael's mother, he covered his mouth in shock. Son, are you okay? Michael's mother, I walked up to him with a distressed look on my face. You are totally unreasonable. That's right, I am unreasonable, so tell your son to divorce me right away. I crossed my arms and looked cold. I also looked down on selfish men like him. Do you still think of me as someone's substitute? I wasted my 4 years of love. I was really blind. I turned around resolutely, and this time, no one dared to stop me. But Michael, he did not stop there and continued to bombard me with phone calls and text messages. Sophia, think it over carefully. If you leave me, you will never find someone better than me. I order you to come back immediately and kneel down to apologize to me. Otherwise I will really divorce you. On the other end of the phone, his chauvinism and arrogance were evident. I smiled contemptuously and said, then let's get divorced. Divorce office, see you there, whoever doesn't go is a grandson. It makes me sick to think that we are still bound by legal paperwork. After I left him, my career took off as expected. In the past, whenever I wanted to fight for a project or start a business, he would always sneer at me, saying that I was incompetent and it was a waste of effort. He obstructed my progress and made me his lifelong nanny, doing everything from washing clothes to cooking. When he was playing games, he wouldn't even allow me to type on the keyboard, saying it would affect his performance, and he kept instilling negative thoughts in me. During those years, I got used to forbearance and obedience. Now, once I have broken free, I feel freer than ever before. I rented a small apartment, which was smoke-free and alcohol-free, and was decorated in a warm and orderly manner. While going through the divorce procedures, I successfully switched to a company of my choice and received a bonus of $100,000 for my outstanding performance. When you receive a court summons, Michael fly into a rage. I leveraged the power of the internet, hired marketing accounts to make our story public, and even pushed it to the top of trending searches at my own expense. Although no one was named directly, smart netizens have already followed the clues and uncovered the truth. I'm shocked. This is actually true. Are billionaires so stingy? They even pay for condoms on a 40-day basis? My whole worldview has been overturned. I thought rich people would at least be generous, but it turns out that even 29.9 yuan of condoms are too expensive? You're pretending to be poor too much. Still pretending to be an orphan. The heroine truly loves the hero, but the hero, well. Don't compare yourself to shit. Shit is unfair. Public opinion is one-sided. Michael family became a laughingstock. Michael he also suffered unprecedented cyber violence, and even his company employees pointed fingers at him. And I chose to add fuel to the fire at this time. I opened a social media account and started a live broadcast of my divorce, allowing the whole world to witness the end of this relationship. Michael shameless, why should I save face for him? Hello, everyone. I am the heroine in the story of the second-generation rich pretending to be poor. Now I am planning to divorce the hero, but he thinks I am playing hard to get and even asked me to kneel down and apologize before he would consider not divorcing me. Nowadays, netizens love to watch the fun, especially since my story is very popular. As soon as the live broadcast started, tens of thousands of viewers flocked in instantly, and the screen was filled with comments. I talked about filing for divorce, and some people supported me, while others advised me to think twice. After all, he is the only son of a billionaire. If you don't divorce, you will have a share of the money in the future. Think carefully before you decide. But I had made up my mind. I'm planning to start my own business, so it's better to separate from the unsuitable person as soon as possible. Life can be more exciting if you stay away from scumbags. A month later, he finally couldn't stand the pressure of public opinion and signed the divorce agreement. I don't want the 700,000 yuan in the card anymore. Just consider it as compensation to you. I sneered in response, compensation? Are you afraid of being criticized? Let's split the money equally. No one owes anyone anything. We will go our separate ways from now on. Now Michael he became a rat crossing the street, and everyone wanted to kill him. Those rich young ladies who once flocked to him now stay away from him for fear of being implicated. What's even more amazing is that Michael family they also arranged for him to go on blind dates with other women. Now everyone knows that he is married and still cheating, so they all stay away from them. I made such a fuss. Michael family the group's brand image was also damaged and its stock price plummeted. He just wants to calm the storm now. Sophia, other than not telling you I'm a billionaire, I haven't done anything to let you down, right? Can't we just live a good life? How about we put our money aside and spend it together? His eyes were red. I glanced at him with disgust. Do you think it's fun to use me as a stand-in for Ava? Isn't that disgusting? Even one look at you now is too much. He was so shocked that he couldn't close his mouth. How did you know? He thought about it for a long time before realizing that it might be me who heard the phone call that night. So you planned it all along? Deliberately ruining my reputation? His face turned pale. I crossed my arms and said, it's the same. You made me suffer for 3 years. Even the 400,000 yuan you gave to save my mom was fake. I'm not as shameless as you. After I married him, my quality of life plummeted. He asked me to take care of him, and secretly asked the company to transfer me and reduce my salary. I wanted to change jobs, but he said it was difficult to find a job. I wanted to start a business, but he discouraged me. It turned out that the 400,000 yuan was my company's year-end bonus. He deliberately hid it from me in order to control me. It was not until I left the company that a colleague couldn't stand it anymore and told me the truth. The company I work in is Michael family the group's partners. This was a really smart move of his. I have been very grateful to him over the years for enduring his bad temper time and time again. If I hadn't accidentally learned the truth, I may still be kept in the dark and at his mercy. Michael elder brother. Just an ex-husband Michael after completing the divorce procedures, I stepped out divorce office the gate is just a few steps away. Immediately afterwards, a woman with a coquettish voice came up to me, held her ex-husband's arm, and looked at me with obvious provocation in her eyes. I glanced at her. This woman who looked 70% like me must be Ava, my ex-husband's beloved ex-girlfriend. Ava, be careful, there are people here. The ex-husband spoke softly, his eyes full of doting on her. I glanced at this scumbag and saw that his nature was hard to change. I turned around, got in my car and left. You've been secretly hooking up with your ex-girlfriend, and you're still pretending to want me to stay? Do you really think you are the emperor and can call the wind and rain? Sophia, but Massachusetts Institute of Technology as a top student in the software engineering department, he soon started a business with like-minded partners. My ex-husband holds a grudge against me and tries to trip me up time and again. But my business is mainly for the international market, and his Michael family the group focuses on domestic projects, so the impact on me is limited. Despite this, it still caused me a lot of trouble, but fortunately my partners understood my situation and did not blame me. Although I felt guilty, my disgust for my ex-husband grew day by day. One day, by chance, I saw a photo of my ex-husband's ex-girlfriend in a foreign tabloid. This guy is a famous financial fraudster, Flora. I heard that he cheated a lot of wealthy people in the United States and then fled to other countries with the money. A foreign customer nearby laughed. An idea came to my mind: isn't Ava studying in the United States? Is there any connection between the two? I looked closely at the woman in the newspaper. She had blonde hair and red lips, which was very different from her current image of a little white flower. A month later, I received a wedding invitation from my ex-husband. If I leave you, there will be many beautiful women who want to marry me, while you are still struggling to make a living. I told you long ago that if you had knelt down and apologized, I would not have divorced you. Michael family, the position of young mistress is still yours, but it's a pity that you insist on asking for trouble. Do you regret it now? On the other end of the phone, my ex-husband's voice was smug, but my eyes were cold. Thinking of the financial fraudster, I looked at the bride's name on the invitation, Ava. I pretended to be relaxed and blessed him. Congratulations, happy wedding, I hope you won't regret it, and I wish you a happy marriage forever. This is what you sow. The ex-husband sneered, are you regretting this? Kneel down and beg me. Even though I can't give you Michael family, I don't know the identity of a young lady, but I can consider letting you be my secretary and visit you in your apartment occasionally. Of course, you have to serve me well. Be my mistress. I clenched my fingers and said, it's been so long since we last met, but your mouth has become more and more foul, just like the trolls on the internet, even worse than a dog. You. The ex-husband was furious. I continued, I haven't fallen to the point of being a mistress. But you should open your eyes and see clearly, otherwise it will be too late to cry. After saying that, I hung up the phone and blacklisted his number. My ex-husband's entanglement with me was simply to see me regretting my actions. He couldn't accept my determination to leave because of my male chauvinism. But I have long since disdained all these things and devoted myself to my career. Not long after, the internet product launched by my team and I won the favor of a well-known Silicon Valley company. They were optimistic about our potential and invested $10 million. Our project has not only been a huge success overseas, but has also been rapidly rolled out domestically and has been warmly welcomed. We revolutionized the way we chat, built a more convenient platform, and the number of users surged. The company became a unicorn and each of us has achieved great success. On the other hand, Michael family the group is declining. Michael, due to a misjudgment, he was led into an investment scam by Ava, which led to a break in his funding chain. Ava absconded with the money and was eventually arrested at the airport, but the money had already been transferred overseas and could not be recovered. She was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Michael family the group also declared bankruptcy. My ex-husband became a deadbeat and ran into obstacles everywhere, and finally he had no choice but to humble himself and set up a street stall. When we met again, he knelt in front of my car, watched me get into the BMW, and begged for forgiveness. Sophia, I know I was wrong. I was a bastard. Please forgive me and let's get remarried. I can't live without you. He slapped himself in the face as he spoke, trying to gain sympathy. My driver sneered, President Sophia is surrounded by so many young and promising men, how could someone like you get a turn? Michael, his face turned red. How ridiculous. You once said you didn't like gold diggers and that you would never regret it. He couldn't raise his head and stammered, Sophia, I really know I was wrong. Please forgive me. Forgive you? Dream on. I rolled down the window and told the driver to drive. Drawing a line between myself and the scumbag was the best decision I have ever made. I want to love myself more and move towards a brighter future,